What is up, everybody? I'm so glad that I've finally taken the time to go on here and share what is happening here at Highlands College. It's already been 2 weeks. I cannot believe it. Everything that God has been doing in my life has seriously been life changing in so many ways. I know that I'm going to come back to Erie in a few months, just changed and transformed, and I can already feel it. I can already tell that other people are seeing that as well. It's just been a crazy action packed experience. And I just wanted to come on here and say, number one, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for all of the prayers that you've been praying for me, because this has not been easy. This has not been easy at all. The first, I think it was 4 or so days, were probably the hardest of my entire life. I cannot begin to describe to you the sadness, the overwhelming sorrow and homesickness that I felt. But by a miracle of God, I think it was on Tuesday of that week when I was listening to a message at one of the revival nights that we had here at Church of the Highlands. God fully delivered me from homesickness. And don't get me wrong, I still have thoughts every now and then, but God has fully delivered me, and I'm so grateful. And that is just one of many miracles that God has been doing in this season here at Highlands College. I've seen people go from having sad faces every single day to being joyful and having people around them that just support them and pour into them every single day, and it is so cool to watch. Seriously, if you get the chance to come to Highlands College, I highly, 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 highly recommend it, that you would come and visit HC. I will give you a tour of the whole school. It is unbelievable. Once you step on this place, it is holy ground. You feel the presence of the Lord everywhere. So please make plans to come and visit me. Come and visit the college. Come and see what God is doing here. It is unbelievable. So I just wanted to get on here and share with you what's been going on. There's been so much that's been happening. I think yesterday was probably the most just craziest day that I've experienced in a long time. Yesterday I had the privilege of evangelizing. Lucas Kerchansky does not evangelize. He did not do that very much back at home, except when he had the opportunities to. But yesterday, two of my friends and we went to the River Chase Galleria, in River Chase. I don't even know, is it a township or something? I really don't know. I'm just being honest. I'm being real. This is totally raw. I did not plan for any of this of what I'm saying. So just have some grace for me, okay? Um, but no, it was just a crazy story. I'd love to be able to tell you at some point, but we got to evangelize to a guy there, got to speak into him, pray for him, and then we went upstairs to a Von Mar store, very ritzy store, and this guy who we found out was a Christian, he was a believer, he was speaking into us. He was more so evangelizing to us than us to them. It was just a crazy experience up there. He helped me think about some things, I guess, is what you could say. Um, And then at night, we went to PF Chang's for dinner. And as we were leaving, two of my friends, they just waved over to a family over there who they were celebrating her birthday. And my birthday's on Monday, which is crazy. So we were kind of like celebrating our birthdays that day. Um, and we ended up just standing there talking to them for like 20 minutes, and found out that one of the guys goes to the Tuscaloosa Church of the Highlands campus, and so he's a brother in Christ. So it was just like, wow, this is really interesting. But it was an action-packed day. I could tell you so much more about what happened yesterday, but it was just unbelievable. It was so cool. Um, Other things that have been going on, just like, man, some life-changing sermons that I've been hearing, life-changing experiences, having people prophesy over me, pray for me. Um, the community here is unbelievable. The people that they want to get to know you, they want to see you. And don't get me wrong, there's a handful of people. There's actually a decent amount that are still a little standoffish in a way, which I get it. I'm like that too sometimes. Even today, I was like that because I was so tired. You ever have those days where you're just tired? Today was one of them. Um, but no, seriously, just people want to get to know you. They want to hear what God is doing in your life. How did God bring you to Highlands College? Like, how are you called in the ministry? What's your testimony? So it's just cool to be around those people like that. Like, I don't know if you've ever been in seasons of your life where the people that are in your corner aren't bad people, but they're hindering you from doing the thing that God wants you to do, and they're hindering your growth. That's what I felt like when I was back in Erie. So now that I'm here, I have people in my life that are speaking into me every day, that are encouraging me to be better, to grow, And it's just been such a blessing to be able to grow in this atmosphere over the last 2 weeks. And I know it's going to be even more so over these next several months as I continue my education here. And I know it's not going to be easy, and it's a tough pill to swallow to be 12 hours from home, but I know God has a purpose and a plan for me. And listen, if you are struggling with knowing what God's calling you to do, literally just be a good follower of Jesus. Just follow him, be faithful to Christ, follow him, forsake your sin, and fish for people. Do God's will for your life. He's calling you somewhere. He is calling you to follow him. I was reading in 2 Timothy earlier today, and I'll share this with you. I love this book because there's been multiple points where he's talked about suffering in this brief time of grief that we experience sometimes in our lives. I don't know if you've ever gone through seasons where you've just poured your heart out to God, where you've cried and cried and cried. That's what I've experienced, whether it's a death in the family or separation from somebody that you love or a hard breakup, whatever it is that you've experienced. Let me just encourage you in this moment with it's First Peter. So I said Second Peter. First Peter chapter 1 verses 6 through 7 say, "You rejoice in this, even though now for a short time, if necessary, you suffer grief in various trials, so that your proven character of your faith," watch this, your faith, your proven character of your faith is more valuable than gold, which though perishable is refined by fire, is refined by this test that you are going through, so that it may result in praise, glory, and honor at the revelation of Jesus Christ. And I want to memorize this verse so much because I've suffered, I have grieved, I have cried. Today I've been thinking so much just about wanting to come home and stay home and serve in the church at Elevate. And man, it's just not what God has for me right now. So I'm willing to suffer because guess what? God's going to grow me. You don't need, what was it said? Um, Pastor Chris Hodges said something absolutely incredible in the first time that I got to hear him speak and actually see him speak. He said, "You don't have to know, you just have to grow." So you don't have to necessarily know why God has you. You don't need to know everything about a situation. You don't need to know everything about ministry. You just need to grow. God's trying to grow you in this season. And that's what I want to encourage you with right now. And then there was another verse that I saw. So speaking of calling, God is calling you to something. Sometimes we wonder, God, what are you calling me to do? And this is part of our general calling, to follow, to fish, and forsake our sin. And so this is part of the following process. Look at what it says. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 21 says, "For you were called to this, because Christ also suffered for you, leaving you an example that you should follow in his steps." The verse before, so what is this thing that we are called to do? It says, I'll read you the first few. It's 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 19 through 20. It says, "For it brings favor if because of a consciousness of God, someone endures grief from suffering unjustly. For what credit is there if when you do wrong and are beaten, you endure it? But when you do what is good and suffer, if you endure it, this brings favor with God." So God, whatever he's putting you through in this season, whatever you are suffering, whatever you are struggling through in this season, God is going to grow you and is going to bring favor and riches in heaven. I've been listening to this song called "I Will Trust" by Red Rocks Worship, and the chorus is probably one of my favorite out of any song. It says, "I want to go wherever you are, no matter how far you take me, even through the dark, no matter how far you take me." I just love that verse so much. So how far are you willing to go? How far are you willing to go? For me, it was 12 hours. How far are you willing to go to suffer for God? Guys, I would love to share so much, but my time is, I don't even know what to say. It's been a lot of time. I've been talking for a little too long. But yes, so thank you so much. Thank you so much for praying for me. And I'm praying for you. I'm praying for every single one of you who is back at home in Erie. I'm so blessed and honored that you would choose to pray for me. I don't deserve it. I do not deserve it one bit. So, guys, thank you so much for your prayers. And I'm so excited for what God has for you in this next season. And I'm so excited to come home and to see you and have you see what God has done in my life. So, guys, thank you. I love you. And just know that I'm praying for you and I miss you every single day. God bless you guys.